Okay, now it's live.
Hello, Mrs. King. My name is Rachel. I am a new BCBA to the company of Cora Health, and I've come to ask you a few questions about your son today.
Okay.
What do you like to call your son? What name does
Um,
he like to go by? Do you have any nicknames, or do you
we call him Johnny.
Johnny? Okay. And he responds well to Johnny. Does he like any nicknames? John John?
He doesn't always respond to his name, but if he does turn around and look at me, that's the name I'm using.
Okay, excellent. And what is his birthday?
November 20th, and he was born 2 years ago.
Aw, such a sweetie pie. They're always great when they're that age.
He is cute.
So what are your concerns? Why did you call us out today?
I'm mostly really worried because I have another child, a daughter who's 4, and when she was around Johnny's age, she would ask for things and start pulling me towards the things that she liked if she didn't know the words for them. And I'm just really worried because Johnny mostly cries. And it's hard to figure out what he wants and hard to soothe him once he starts crying.
Okay. I can understand how difficult that might be when he cannot communicate to you about what he's feeling and what's going on. And when there's a lack of communication, it makes it really hard as a parent.
Yeah, definitely.
Does Johnny have any strengths that you've noticed?
He really loves bubbles. And so we've noticed that anytime we pull those out, he immediately lights up. And he does say bubbles. It's not perfect, but he comes close.
I love it. It's nice to hear language. Does he, sorry, do you have any other main concerns that you'd like to address today besides the tantruming and the crying?
That and just the lack of language. I feel like he should be talking more for being 2 years old.
That makes sense. Does he have any siblings?
Just his older, did I say brother or sister? I don't know.
Sister.
Okay, sister. Just his older sister.
And how old is his older sister?
She's 4.
She's 4. Oh, wow. 2 young ones. You have a lot on your hands.
Exactly.
What's his older sister's name?
Maria.
Excellent. Thank you. Do you have any pets in the home?
We have 1 dog.
Excellent. What's your dog's name?
Jasper.
Excellent.
I realized I should have used one of my real clients. This making up business is really hard.
All right. Besides bubbles, what else does Johnny like to play with?
He also has a few objects that he kind of fixates on.
Okay.
Anytime he finds a string, he really likes to flick it back and forth in front of his eyes. So sometimes we let them have those, but often we hide them.
Do they become quite distracting for him?
Yeah, he definitely doesn't respond to his name if he has strings.
Has taking away the string ever caused a tantrum?
Definitely. Yeah, especially if he can't find them for a few days or it doesn't come across a cord or something that he can play with, he gets really upset.
And how do you calm him during those times?
I try all sorts of things. Often I'll offer him cookies or treats or something that I know he likes. Sometimes that calms him down. I'll try and hug him or hold him to see if that will help. And I'd say it's about 50-50 if those things work.
Okay. During these tantrums, what do you see other than crying?
It's mostly crying, but if he is standing up, sometimes he'll throw himself to the floor. He's really gentle. He doesn't really ever hurt anyone or hurt himself. He just gets really sad.
Sad. What do you mean by sad? Sad's something that we can't really I mean, you're not feeling it. So what do you mean by sad? Are you seeing tears? Are you seeing screaming?
Always tears. He doesn't really scream, mostly just cries. And we'll kind of pull away a little bit. He doesn't necessarily like a lot of hugs, even though I try that sometimes.
Okay, so he pulls away from your hugs.
Hmm.
How is Johnny's sleeping habits? What time does he typically go to sleep, and what time does he typically wake up?
He has pretty regular sleeping habits. He's always been a good baby, so he goes to bed around 8 or 9 and usually wakes up at 6 or 7.
Okay, and does he sleep through the night?
Almost always, yeah.
Does he ever have difficulties falling asleep?
Um, not often, no.
Okay. Does Johnny have any medical conditions that you are aware of at this point?
He's allergic to peanut butter, but that's it. Or peanuts, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't like peanut butter, so that's cool.
This is funny.
Sorry.
Poor Johnny.
Does he have any histories of ear infections?
He did actually have several when he was between 1 and 2 years old, and he's been on a couple of courses of antibiotics. I'd say 3 in the last year.
Any other medications that Johnny takes?
No, just a daily gummy vitamin.
Is that a multivitamin?
Yes.
I've never done this before, by the way.
Okay, I feel like you're doing a good job.
Does Johnny eat and drink what is his favorite foods?
He really likes pasta. And then of course things like chips and cookies, but we try to get him to eat more healthy. He's a little bit picky, so he'll only eat certain fruits and vegetables.
What are those?
He eats apples and oranges. As far as vegetables, he mostly likes starchy things like sweet potatoes. Occasionally we can get him to eat a little bit of broccoli.
Broccoli. I find if I tell my daughter they're trees, she's more inclined to eat them.
Maybe it'll work.
What was that?
I said we'll have to try that with Johnny.
Oh, yes. When Johnny eats, does he like to eat with the family, or does he eat alone?
He's something of a grazer, so he'll go back and forth to the table, but my daughter did that when she was his age too. She didn't really like to sit for a long period of time.
Does he sit at the table at all with you guys during meals, or is it a no-go at all at the table?
Maybe for like 5 to 10 minutes, but then he wants to get up and kind of wander around.
Okay. It's hard when you're little to sit at a table for a long time. Is there any type of restricted diet that you like to keep him to? Is there things that you are obliged to not feeding him?
Aside from the peanuts, we would really rather he have a varied diet and eat really healthy. So if anything, we try to keep him away from junk food, but that's all.
Okay. Besides getting behavioral services from my company, are there any other services that Johnny is receiving at this time?
He's been evaluated for occupational therapy.
I'm sorry, I did not hear that last part from you.
Oh, he's been evaluated for speech and occupational therapy, but he hasn't started those yet.
Okay. How does Johnny transition from one room to the other? Is there times where he's doing something that he really prefers and you take him away from that and he gets upset? such as
Yes,
watching
especially
TV?
yeah, he really does like television. He he loves kind of any technology. So if he has an iPad or somebody's phone that's really hard to take away from him, he gets upset. Um, he doesn't like to have his diaper changed, so that will often start some crying. But usually it's worse if he's doing something that he really likes and we take it away.
What do you do in those instances when he's changing his diaper? What does he do that shows you that he doesn't like his diaper getting changed?
It's the same crying. It usually starts when we take away the toys that he likes to go change his diaper.
Mhm.
I have to just do it though, because it's not really a choice.
Have you ever tried changing his diaper while he's holding the toys?
Um, Sometimes, yeah, I'll let him keep them, and he does a lot better. He doesn't cry.
He does better when he's holding the toys. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Um, Sorry, I got a couple more questions for you. Is he going to any type of daycare right now, or is he under your full care?
He's at home all day.
I bet you get to love spending time with both of your children.
Exactly, it's great.
Are you working on any type of potty training currently?
No, not at all.
No. It's kind of early on for him, but in the future, would you like us to work on potty training skills?
Definitely, especially since diaper changes are kind of an issue. It would be nice to not have to worry about that.
What other programs do you think you would like to see for Johnny?
My biggest thing is he also doesn't really play with his sister, so it would be really nice to work on social skills so that they can be friends.
How does he do when it comes to sharing?
He doesn't really. He has a really hard time when his sister takes toys away or tries to have certain parts of toys that he likes.
As far as playing with toys, does Johnny like to play with cars? Does he like to play with blocks? Does he like to color?
He likes anything that has a lot of little pieces, and he likes to keep all the little pieces in front of him. So he doesn't really play with them. He just keeps them.
He kind of scavenges them all up and holds on to them.
Yeah, he likes to have something in his hands. If not string, it's something else that he's just holding.
Oh, that must be so difficult for sister if she wants to play with those things. Does that cause issues with her?
It does. She understands that he's her little brother, but she gets frustrated, especially if he takes her toys and wants to hold on to them.
And as far as Dad goes, is he home? Is he working?
He works during the day, but then is always home by 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening.
What is Dad doing for work?
He's an astrophysicist, of course.
Perfect man to marry.
Exactly, why not?
And how is his relationship with Johnny?
They get on pretty well. He doesn't have quite as much patience for the crying as I do because I've had a lot of practice. So sometimes after a hard day, he has a short temper with Johnny. It makes him sound abusive or something. I don't know.
No, as a father, I can understand it being difficult and him not being able to see Johnny as much, not being home. And, you know, the relationship that you've built with Johnny as a mother and being home and being able to work with him on those communication skills with lack of words, it makes a mother's relationship stronger, and it's very understandable. And Dad, you know, will learn through time how to build that relationship. And once Johnny has the ability to show some type of communication towards him, I'm sure that relationship can grow.
I think so. He really does love him, but just hasn't eaten time with your daughter.
Yeah. How many hours are you looking at having at the house?
Our insurance company said that we could have up to 25, but
up to 25 hours.
Yeah.
How would that fit into your schedule with you and your husband?
It would really only work well if it was in the mornings. We kind of
Mornings.
have busy afternoons.
All right. Are you going out in the afternoons, or
Our
are
daughter
there other
has
activities?
play dates with her friends. She takes ballet classes, so it gets a little hectic. We have to make dinner.
Since Johnny is up around 6 in the morning, what time would be preferable for you?
Usually it's easy enough to get him fed and ready to go by around 8 or 9.
8 or 9. So if I had a technician coming over to your house at 9 and staying till about 12, would that schedule work for you?
That would be great. We would even take more hours if you had them.
Well, the thing that we do like to start with is at the beginning, we like to start with a pairing session and be able to build that relationship and that reinforcement with the technician and with Johnny. And so at the very beginning, we like to start off with small amount of hours since this will be his first set of services, as you say. I want to make it fun and work on play skills. I want to work on sharing. I also want to create a behavior plan for the tantrums.
Okay.
Um, and I also want to increase the communication. I want you to know you can always reach out to me with questions if you have them,
Okay.
and also to the technician.
That sounds good.
Another question I do have with Johnny, do you have any instances of non-compliance?
What do you
And by that I mean when you tell him to do something, does he respond to it? Say if you said wait, how does he do with waiting? And if you were to say, Johnny, come here, how would he respond to that?
He doesn't really follow directions very well. It's almost like he doesn't hear us. Yeah, so often he'll just, if you ask him to come here, he'll kind of walk away. He probably won't make eye contact.
Does he do well with physical prompting? So if you were to take his hand and show him where he needs to go, will he accept that?
Yes, unless he's playing with one of his favorite toys and he doesn't want to stop. Then he'll cry.
Excellent. All right. That's all the questions I have today.
Okay.
Is that it?
I think
I feel like there should be more.
I think probably when you're writing your summary, you could like add on a section where we like talk about dates where we're starting and whatever. But
Okay.
I think we probably don't need to act that out. Sorry, I hope that wasn't too scatterbrained. I was trying to narrow it in on a more specific.
No, I honestly, and I was trying to do it as well. I feel like we got that. If you want to start with me, you can.
Okay. So, is your last name Biebler? Is that how you say it? Or did I say it wrong?
Bibbler. That
Bibbler.
ranks.
Okay, just making sure. So, hello, Ms. Bibbler. I'm calling today in response to your request for a needs identification interview for your child. Can you tell me a little bit about him or her? That was bad. I should know if it's a boy or a girl. I'll leave that out.
Well, my daughter's name is Adiana, and she is 4 years old. And currently, right now, she's having issues with eating. She refuses to eat anything but puffs. It's very concerning because there's no calories in the puffs that she's eating, and she's always crying and having a lot of times where she's just tantruming and sad, and I don't understand her.
Oh, I can understand that must be really difficult for you. How long has this concern been going on?
Forever, since she was born.
Oh, okay, so there was never a time where she ate any other foods?
Well, she did eat her formula, and she does drink milk, and she does drink juice and soda when I give it to her.
Of course, all kids love sweet things. It's really hard.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It is. But other than that, all she'll eat is puffs.
Okay. I definitely want to address that. That sounds like a very serious concern. Before we get too much farther into it, though, I was wondering if we could start with some positives. Can you tell me a few things that your daughter does really well?
She loves playing. She loves people. I feel like, she has a really good relationship with me and her dad. She's full of smiles. She loves things that spin.
Oh, awesome.
She's very gentle when she touches things and when she turns pages. She never wants to ruin things.
When you say that she has a really good relationship with you and your husband, what does that look like?
She knows our voices. So when we come into the house, she smiles.
Oh, that's wonderful. Does she call you by name?
Oh, she's not talking currently.
Okay. Has she ever said any words or babbled approximations for words?
She says, Mama. And other than that, she grabs our hands and she gestures towards what she wants. But no, there's no communication other than that I've seen.
I'm sure it makes you feel really loved to hear her call you Mama. That's really sweet.
I was the first one to be named. I love it.
We'll have to work on getting Dad too, so that he feels part of the club.
Oh, don't worry about him.
So I'm curious, your daughter is 4 years old. Has she ever received any sort of support services before?
Nope. That's why we came to you.
Okay, perfect. Are you seeking out services at any other facilities, either speech or occupational therapy at this time?
No, I do want to get her into some physical water therapy, possibly. But no, I don't know about speech yet. I don't want to overwhelm her too much at this point.
That sounds like a good place to start. We usually try to build a solid foundation of really successful treatment at the beginning and take it in baby steps from there. So I like that you're trying to focus in on one thing rather than throwing her everywhere and making it a little harder. So you mentioned that definitely feeding is a big priority for you, and I can absolutely understand that as a mom. You want your child to have a well-rounded diet. What are your other main goals and concerns?
She seems really sensitive to touch. She doesn't like to touch wet things. She doesn't like to touch rough things. She doesn't like to be dirty. If anything gets on her hand, she freaks out.
Okay.
She's currently not walking.
Okay. Sorry, that's audible.
I'm so glad the professor doesn't get to watch this part.
I know. Well, it's just that when it's a made-up child and all of a sudden it dissolves. Like, he isn't even ambulatory at 4. This is the first time we have services, and I shouldn't be like breaking character because that might happen. At least there's a reflection part, so I can explain that I need to not be shocked by anything. And especially how cavalier was. She's not walking.
Well, I'm explaining the kid I have, obviously. So.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that I'm sorry. So that's definitely a concern as well. I'm sorry.
You're okay. Go for it.
Okay, so you would like to work on her feeding skills and then maybe decreasing some of her sensory sensitivities. And of course, we'd want to get her ambulatory. I'm kind of thinking from the direction that our conversation is going so far that we may need to rely on some of the partners that we contract with at our clinic. We have a feeding therapist on staff who may be really helpful. We also have a physical therapist who meets with clients who have specific physical needs, because behavioral treatment can't necessarily address those, and we like to stay within our area of expertise.
Well, I've taken her to a swallow test before, and there wasn't anything wrong with her, they said. And they said that this is all behavioral. So that's why I'm reaching out to you.
Okay, that's really good information. Now, since we know that that's at least been evaluated, that would be our first step. Do you happen to have a copy of that evaluation?
I do. Here you go.
Oh, wonderful. That will be really helpful. And then we can definitely start working on sensory sensitivity as well. There are a lot of strategies for that. We can slowly start introducing her to different textures and try and build in ways to make that fun for her and less aversive. You mentioned that she doesn't speak. Is there, have you tried anything to support her language, like signing or picture cards, anything like that?
What are picture cards?
They're a method used with some children to help them communicate. So you print out pictures of things that they like and attach them to a Velcro board, and you can teach the children to give you the picture when they want something instead of either crying or getting upset.
I like that idea.
That's wonderful. It's definitely a research-based strategy that would be helpful for at least getting your daughter interested in the idea of communication, so that she understands that it's a back and forth between two people, and that communicating with you functionally can get her access to things that she really likes. So it sounds like we have a lot to work on. Can you tell me a little bit about the time you have available for services, and if you'd like to receive services in our clinic or in-home?
Well, my schedule's always changing since I work in the fast food
Okay.
restaurant, but I could tell you week to week.
Okay. Is there ever a time that's definitely available, or does it really vary?
Well, would you be willing to work with my mom?
We have definitely worked with other caregivers in the past, and we find that it's a good approach to include as many individuals who are close to the client as possible, because then we make sure that everyone they're interacting with on a daily basis has a good idea of their goals and what we're working towards with them.
Well, then my mom can come at any time. She probably would be most willing to work in the morning, so.
Okay. We have a few openings for both in-home and clinic-based services. Is there one that you would prefer?
Well, since my mom doesn't drive, do you think you could come to us?
Absolutely. We have a few therapists who are happy to come in home, and often that really helps the children to feel comfortable at first, because they don't have to leave their most familiar environment.
Excellent.
And so I'm excited that you like the idea of a picture communication system. I'd love to come in with a few cards for our first session when we do an evaluation that may be of interest to your daughter. What are a few things that she really enjoys? And we could kind of try out this system and see if it works for her.
Her iPad, her puffs, her pacifier, her juice.
Okay. I'm making notes of all those things. That sounds good. And of course, we always want to try to support speech if we can. So we'll definitely make that a priority as well, because I'm sure she can improve her vocalizations. And I suppose for just a little bit more background, aside from the behavioral issues that you've shared, some of the communication difficulties you're having, does your daughter have any specific health concerns that we haven't covered?
Other than she's not eating, she
Any concern?
does have a dairy intolerance,
Okay.
and I have tried to keep her away from candy
Okay.
because she is young. I don't like to give her edibles. It's hard not to use the behavioral terms. That's my hardest part of this whole interview is not using behavioral terms.
I was really trying to sound naive as well. And not be like, I think he likes to access toys, and when I take them. Anyways,
I should have gone into talking about PECs with Johnny as well, which
yeah,
I
do.
pretend.
I think I probably have enough. I'm sort of just making things up, but I think my main reflection on this is that it's really difficult not to go, like, you don't want to go down a rabbit hole until you've actually met the kid, because even though you know them best, they're still just reporting like from their perspective, and from a clinical perspective you'd have a different I don't know.
We need to discuss the next steps of when we would meet again.
I can add that to end. We can start in 2 weeks when my therapist is ready and available.
Yeah.
Meet the mom.
In 2 weeks. Would 2 weeks work for you as well?
Yeah, that's perfect.
We can pretend like we did that stuff. And we went over, opened up a dialogue. We discussed the child's family, teacher strength, discussed goals and desires with both of us. We did. We could stop recording, probably.
Yeah, that's true.